Hi, hello, welcome on board. While searching the internet for information on navigation, I found many films and studies, but no one that would tell about this issue in a systematic way. Hence the idea to present the tools and, above all, the rules that must be followed to safely navigate the waters. Of course, we will not exhaust the topic, but I think you will be interested. Due to complexity of the issue and in order to systematize it, I decided to divide the program into two parts. In today's episode, we'll cover cruise documentation, weather conditions, communications, and the basic of water markings. When we start talking about navigation and basically about safe navigation, we must first talk about documentation, mainly the so-called travel plan or a cruise plan. This plan contains very important information. First of all, the date and the number of the cruise, but also more important as the waters on which we will move, bridges, locks. Besides, when preparing such a document, we will quickly find the shallowest place in the water on which we will move. We cannot load more goods onto the ship than the shallowest place in the water area allows us. This document is important for me as the captain of the ship, but there may also be a control of the police or other services that will want to check whether we kept such documentation. So, safe navigation begins before we even start our ship's engines. Another issue is supplementing the necessary information in the IT system. In this system, we enter the same data as in the itinerary, supplemented with the type of product being transported, ship draft, tonnage, etc. The coordination headquarters, which receives the data entered into the system, sends them to all institutions of my road, I mean locks and ports. It is easier to cooperate when all interested parties have this information. It should be also remembered that the weather is a very important element in inland navigation. The water levels are also important, whether it's high or low, or whether the tide is high or low. Is it raining or maybe gale or calm, beautiful weather? These are also very important issues that should be read through a computer system that has been specially developed for inland navigation and which we use on a daily basis. Therefore, if we have prepared for the journey, we can start the engines, turn on the rudders, thrusters, navigation lights, radar, Tresco system, Meholot system, wind, strength and direction, and we can let go for the lines. The next most important element, in my opinion, is communication. Without good communication, there is no safe navigation. The entire network of inland waterways and sea waterways is divided into communication sectors, but there are also places that do not require these communication sectors. Where the water area is simple, wide and uncomplicated, we communicate on the tense channel directly with other traffic participants. Where there is a lot of traffic, a lot of docks, a lot of ports, there are communication sectors and you have to obey their commands. Otherwise, it would be difficult for traffic participants to communicate and chaos would arise, and it would not be known whether someone was going to go starboard or port, overtaking or not overtaking, for example.
Zomtrans 14. Goeiedag meneer, de Zomtrans 14 aan de monding Doosverkeer richting de brug Dordrecht.
Trans 14 is begrepen, is nu alles vrij?
Alles vrij, bedankt.
One of the elements of direct ship-to-ship communication is a passing maneuver on the so-called blue flag. It consists in signaling by the traffic participant going up the river the need to pass the right sides. Signaling takes place by opening blue boards with flashing light which are mounted on the wheelhouse on the right. Such a request is related to the need to navigate the ship at the point where the water is deepest. This maneuver often occurs at the request of a loaded ship in river bends where there is more water on the outer side of the navigable lane. Another type of communication is communication with the locks and bridges. Each lock has its own communication channel, and it's on this channel that you must communicate with the lock. The employee who works there decides who and when can enter the lock. Not all types of ships can enter the lock together. This rule also applies to open bridges. Each bridge is assigned a communication channel, and you must also maintain communication with it. Efficient communication means that there are no traffic jams on the waterway and in the city. There are also places where you need to confirm your presence by radio, for example parking spaces or some loading or discharging terminals. Safe navigation is of course also associated with a good reading of the waterway. The waterway is usually marked with buoys or some other poles with radar reflectors. When we have a red buoy on the right, it means that we are going down the waterway. The buoys on the sea road look different on the inland water. However, when it comes to colors, there are no big differences. The buoys are also constructed in such a way that they can be seen on the water better than other objects. They are built in such a way that they have many right angles. Radar is easier to pick up all signals from objects that they have many right angles. Radar reflectors are triangles cut across where this right angle is repeated several times. Then, even when it rains, it is clearly visible on the radar. The buoys are of course also marked on the Tresco system, and in very bad weather this device is very helpful.
Można sobie porównać je wówczas z obrazem radaru i troszeczkę to życie ułatwia. Ale generalnie ich konstrukcja, przynajmniej z założenia, przewiduje, że będą na radarze widziane lepiej niż inne obiekty.
It is worth adding that the main European shipping roads also have their kilometer markings from the source to the mouth. Such boards are situated on the river banks every kilometer. Flowing out of the Alps in Switzerland, the Rhine ends in the North Sea west of Rotterdam. The 1,233 km long river is navigable from kilometer 156 in Birsfelden, Switzerland. And that's it for today's episode. I know, we didn't talk about many topics, some just superficial. In one of the comments I said that my program is not an educational or popular science program, but through this channel I would simply like to get you interested in inland shipping. Soon the second part in which we will talk about navigation tools including radars. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon, best regards, bye!